You don't have to be a celebrity to have a story worth telling. Tonight, inside the house, I sit down with horror podcast host Jay Rowlings of Fright Flick FMK, a horror movie review podcast where every film gets one verdict: F it, marry it, or kill it. I was recently a guest on Jay's show, so it only felt right to invite him into my haunted house. We talk about the horror film Beneath the Light, written and directed by John Baumgartner, with writers Cindy Davis Song and Jonathan Charles. But tonight isn't just about reviewing a movie. It's about what happens when ordinary people choose to live in the dark. If you ever wondered why horror pulls some of us in, this one's for you. The doors are open. All right. Hey, Jay, welcome to the Looks Creepy Cool podcast. I am super excited to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate you having me on. It's the
Yeah.
first time I've ever been invited anywhere.
What? Well, this is the first of many. I was on your podcast, I think twice now, and I was like, I have to invite Jay to my haunted house. So my podcast is a bit different. The house likes to know the fear. And I guess I would say the person behind the horror. So Jay and I, we're going to talk about the movie that we saw, which is Beneath the Light. We'll get that into a minute. But since this is Jay's first time being on the podcast, we're starting outside the house. And before I have him come in and enter the house, Jay, one question I do have for you, I'm just going to get right to it. Like,
Okay.
do you remember the first moment horror stopped being like entertainment for you and started feeling a bit personal?
It for me, it goes back to my very first time seeing a horror movie because I've always you'd heard about it, but the first time I actually got to see one, and the very first horror movie I ever watched was Poltergeist, the original.
Yes.
And that thing put a fear in me that even now that I'm about to turn 50 this year, that I can put that movie on and there's something about it that takes me back to that little kid that I literally hid behind my aunt's couch as I'm watching it. And I was peeking around because this movie was scaring me. And it was the first horror movie I ever seen. And it's crazy because I did a show not too long ago. It's been several months ago on the Poltergeist, and I had to rewatch it. And I've watched it before on TV here and there, but I had to like sit down and I'm like by myself and I'm watching it. And I was like, holy crap, I am that kid that movie still puts some type of fear in me nothing else does that. No other movie, nothing. But Poltergeist, to this day, I can put that thing on and I just feel uneasy, like something ain't right when I watch
Right.
that movie.
But and it's great that like I feel like did you see all the Poltergeist? Because when I watched all of them, it seems like it got better and better. Where a lot of horror movies it doesn't do that.
See, one thing I have not done,
What?
I've never watched any other Poltergeist other than the original.
No.
And
No, but
now I
yeah.
need to, I guess. I need to, maybe it's that little small fat kid in me when I was little that was so scared shitless that maybe that little fat kid in me still there and he's like, don't do it. But
I
I
would
need to. I need to.
I would say, I mean, every part of that film was so great. I mean, I can't believe they used real skeletons, when the mother went in and was trying to save and go back into the house, they used real skeletons that were popping up. And also I think Tangia, oh my gosh, she was great. The person that played her. And then I would say Kane is the most creepiest old man character that I have ever watched in a horror film. Like he was so creepy. I would have been like, "Oh my god, I don't even
Old
know what I
people,
do."
old people automatically creep me out anyway.
What?
You know,
We're gonna be old one day, God
I'm almost
willing.
there. I know this, and that's why it's okay. I feel like I've reached that age where I can say stuff like this now. But like old people, like even to this, like I love them to death. Like I could sit down and I like watching them and talking to them. But like in a horror movie, like something really creepy about them old people.
They've been around and
Yeah,
then
they know
some.
some stuff. They
Yeah,
know some stuff that
yeah,
they haven't shared with us.
right, right, right. The next question I have for you is that at some point you stopped just watching horror. Well, you still do, but you decided to build a microphone around it.
Mhm.
So your podcast. So what pulled you that far into the dark?
For me, I was a really late bloomer when it comes to horror. I haven't recently, about 2021 was when I really got into horror. I've always kind of watched movies here and there, But my brother got me into horror like deep. Like 2021, I started going down rabbit holes. Like I couldn't get enough. I wanted to watch anything and everything, and so I was really into it. And he, at the time, him and his wife were doing like a true crime podcast. And he hits me up one day and he's like, "Hey, how would you like to do a horror movie podcast?" Because I was just like, at that time, I was like a kid in a candy store. Like I couldn't get enough horror, and I was anything from as deep underground as I could find it to whatever I wanted to watch it. And so when he brought up the podcast to me, I was like, that'd be cool. But I've always listened to podcasts. I'm a big fan of listening to the different ones, and they all got the same kind of generic type thing. And a, I'm not that type of person. So when my brother hit me up to do the podcast doing horror movies, he's like, he already had the name. He's like, we're going to call it Fright Flick FMK. And we're going to base the horror movie on that old time game, whether you would rather if it, marry it, or kill it. That's how we rate them. And I told my brother, he knows how I am. I said, man, I would love to. I said, but I can't be a PG-13 podcast. I said, I'm not, I did 20 years in the military, retired. Cursing is my way of life. And so like when I told him we wanted to do the podcast, I was like, I was all for it. I was like, but I'm not going to sugarcoat how I am and the way I talk. And so that's how we started the podcast, with like me and him just wanted to be just like, get on here. And if we're just like sitting around a kitchen table and I'm telling you about a horror movie that I watched recently, that's how I wanted the show to be, where it's like, no, I never have a guideline. I never have a layout of the shows. It's just like, I just go and talk as if, like I said, we're just talking about a movie. And that's the cool. And that's one of the things I love horror movies, and just being able to talk about them. And, because everybody's got different opinions of them. Everybody's got their different ways where certain types of movies, that's not their thing. And then there's some people that's like, they like this certain type of movie. And that's why I said I'm a huge fan of any opinion of horror movie. But I say it all the time, go watch the movie and make your own opinions. Don't listen to what other people may tell you, because, on my show, I've talked a lot of crap about movies, but at the end of it, I still tell you to go watch the movie, have your own opinion. So that's how I kind of got to the podcast side, was just, my brother reaching out to me, and I recently took it over in 2023 because he's family life, he's got kids and all that stuff. So in 2023, I kind of took it over by myself, and started doing it on my own. And he still comes on the show, and I try to have guests whenever I can, and luckily you were willing to come on
Yeah.
our little show,
Oh my
hey.
gosh. And it won't be the last. It will not
Oh
be the
yeah, I hope
last.
not. I hope not.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and it's been a lot of fun getting to just watch horror movies, because I've discovered a lot because people reach out and be like, "Hey, what about this one?" And just like you nailed it
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago when you gave me a list of movies and the list I'd never seen, and we did one last week, and the one we're going to talk about tonight. Once again, you knocked it out of the park.
Thanks,
I was like,
man.
look at Renee bringing the heat.
Wow. Yeah. No, thank you. And Jay, I will say, like, I call my audience house guests, but like house guests, like Jay, like, even though we're like far away on opposite sides of the country, like every time when I'm on your show, it just feels like what you just said. It's like we're talking in the
Yeah.
kitchen about a
Yep.
horror movie that it's like so comfortable. And Jay's podcast is so fun. So, guys, please make sure to check it out. I'll put in the link below and everything else. But
Appreciate it.
of course, Jay. And so, one question before we go into our other room of the house, do you think, with all the horror movies that you've seen and everything, do you think horror reveals who we are or who we're afraid we might be?
Yes.
Which one?
I think it could be both, because I've watched movies before and I see horror movies, and there's a part of me where I'm like, catch myself, put me in that position. I put myself in that, and I catch myself going, could I do that? Like, could I, like, if the moment came, could I take that shovel to that person's face and just smear it? And there's parts of me where it's like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that.
Well,
And
yeah.
but then it's like, you kind of, you start thinking those things, and then I kind of catch myself, like I'll be talking to my wife while I'm watching it, and I'll say things and she'll look at me like, "What is wrong with you?" Because it's like, I was like, "Oh, that's cool, but I would have done it this way,"
Oh my God.
And
She's
there's
like,
parts
you're
of,
sleeping outside.
yeah, it's like there's parts of me that, and also that side of it where it gets to like I love a horror movie that gets into like that mental side of it, where it's like, and just the good versus bad, the crap that goes on in people's brains that we don't know nothing about. Just yeah, I check both of those boxes. I think I'm that way where it's like, I catch myself. I could do that. I could kill them
Yeah.
better than that.
Well, and also the circumstances, like the human being doesn't know how far they would go if they're,
Yeah,
just like and that reminds me of the movie that we're gonna talk about now. So, that reminds me that we should go into the creepy kitchen here, and just to let everyone know, we both watched Beneath the Light. The film is about a young man named Jacob who takes a job at an isolated lighthouse, hoping to reconnect with a childhood friend. But as strange events unfold, he grapples with reality, anxiety, and fractured memories while finding romance and an unexpected bond with the owner who Jay, who I must admit, he was an asshole. But
yeah.
what did you think when you first, right when the credits were rolling, what were your first thought process of, the film?
Oh, at the end of it. Oh, at the beginning. At the beginning, I like the way it started off because it was one of those movies that kind of like started off like in the middle, and then it kind of gives you just a little taste of it, and then it kind of like snatches it back. And it's like teasing, like when you tease a dog with a little treat, put it out in front of it, he try to grab it, you pull it back,
Yeah.
and that's the way when this one started off. We got this dude, our boy Jacob, like running through the house wherever he's at, screaming like a banshee,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there going like, "Holy crap, what's going on? What's coming after him?" Yeah, you don't get to see none of that, and it just gives you that buildup of like, "Holy crap, what's going on?" And then it's like, okay, that's enough. Now we're gonna start the movie, and a movie like that that can get my attention right out of the gate like that. It's like I'm buckling in for the ride right now. I'm ready.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you're starting off with on the good side of things. Now it's up to you to not screw it up. You know,
Right.
and keep
Right.
it going. But yeah, I was all for the way it started. Yeah, it had my attention. I was not bored. I didn't get bored in this movie at
No.
all the way through. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked the beginning where it opened up, give me that little tease.
Yeah, and also, like, I felt Jacob was just so like, he was desperate, like, he needed a job, his mom just passed away, and, like, he, like, got the first plane ticket out there, he had to save his money for it, and then he comes across this guy who owns a lighthouse. It's, like, very desolate. He meets, like, this pretty girl in a cafe, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll work for you," but he was such a asshole, but he had to deal with it, and then you know what? And I'm like, "Oh my god." You know what was the worst part? Because, like, he had no food, and then he was forced to
Yeah,
eat
eat that
that
sandwich.
moldy sandwich, and then the
Yeah,
guy came, Murdoch is his name, and then he was just like, "What are you eating that for?" And he just ate it. He was like, "You bastard. Yeah, you
yep,
bring groceries."
yeah, and that's one of the things I liked with this movie is, we never really know what our boy Jacob does for a living.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just know that apparently he was hard up for some money because when he's at the restaurant, he gets that text message and they basically say we can't release the money for like 6 weeks or some shit.
Right. Right.
So then I'm like, okay, so he's just there for mama's money or whatever, and he's just trying to get his pockets full and get out of town. And then when he sees
Yeah.
that little card on the thing about the lighthouse thing, and he recognizes the name of that particular person, and as soon as old girl's like, oh, that points to that lighthouse, right then and there, I'm like, okay, this is where all our troubles come. This is going to be the trouble spot right here because it was so creepy just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere, and basically the only way you could get to it was by boat.
Yeah.
And
And he can't swim.
no, like I don't even know what the hell was going through his mind
I know.
because if you were about to take me out there around a lighthouse somewhere, and my first thing is surrounded by water, I am not too proud to tell you
Right.
I can't swim. Like
Right.
I'm not that guy that's going to be like I need to look tough right now.
Right. Right.
No, even now, I'm not a great swimmer now. I can doggy pedal to
Right.
keep my ass alive,
Right.
but yeah. But yeah, the lighthouse thing, and that's one of the things that I've always thought was kinda cool, and I would like to try it. I've seen movies and stuff. Could you do that? Could you, like, if they dropped you off at a lighthouse and be like 3 months?
I don't well, I'm grateful I know how to swim. So I'll be swimming, during the day, but I don't know if I could do 3 months. But if they drop me off at that lighthouse, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
That was like I just like first off, it was so freaking dirty.
yeah,
Like I just like, ugh, it's just like he just and the guy Murdoch owned it, didn't even clean it, nothing, but then you start understanding why he just left it the way it is, but I don't know, and no food, he was starving, and then he was like, "I guess I'll just drink water," and then at the end, you see, the girl was, like, watching him, and then that's when he started to get spooked, but, like, no, Jay, mm-mm, I just and he had no entertainment, aside from his cell phone. I was thinking, like, how is he able to charge his phone?
Yeah, I know I couldn't, I think I could do a stay in a lighthouse. I'm not a people person. I'm okay with being away from people for a while.
But it's very
But
secluded,
yeah,
like,
it is.
even
It is.
claustrophobic.
And this particular lighthouse, I think it would make it a little tougher because from the lighthouse he could see the shore. Like
Yeah.
if I'm in that thing and the first little thing that set me off is like, fuck this, I mean shoot. F this, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so, but when he gets in there and the whole thing, when it starts playing, I don't know if our boy's just crazy because at some point he's taking some medication for like anxiety.
Yeah,
And so I'm
yeah.
like, well, is our boy, is he just kind of loony? Did he
Mhm.
have some childhood stuff that's just got him screwed up in the brain?
Yeah.
Or is this haunted house really got some stuff going on in it?
Mhm.
And it definitely fooled me.
Yeah. It did. Even like the yeah, it definitely did because I was like, "What's going on? He musta did something in his past." And then I was like, "Oh, no." And then he was sharing the story about Claire, which is Murdoch's, daughter, and he was like, "How'd you know her?" And I was like, "Oh my god, he killed her."
Yeah.
But then you start to realize it was the father, but accidentally, like, something happened, they had an argument, and she thought she could swim, or she didn't know how to swim, the current took her, and then yeah, and then his story, Jacob, told a whole different type of story.
Yeah, and you could tell his trauma was buried
I
because
know.
he there was 2 completely different stories basically going on. You
Yeah,
had Murdoch and his daughter, Jacob, and this Claire that he in his brain that he
yeah,
knew, and the whole time I'm thinking that they're tied together like, okay, Jacob did something to Claire,
and that's why
and
the father knows and is being
yeah,
mad at Jacob. That's what I thought.
yeah, but then when he started breaking down the numbers, where it's like his daughter died in 99, Jacob was born in 99, but Jacob knew all this stuff. And this one I was so confused,
Yeah,
but I had no clue what was going on. And a lot of times, maybe sometimes that bothers people, but I was completely okay with it. I was like, I feel like I think I know what's going on,
mhm,
but I obviously did not know what was going on because I didn't peg it until like right when it happened. I was like, holy
yeah.
crap.
Yeah. No, I thought that too. I didn't know what was going on either. I was like, "Well, then how did Jacob know?" Then he took out the childhood photos and, like, drawings that he had, and I was like, "Did he have a premonition or something? Can he see spirits or something? Is she" all that other stuff. I thought the scariest part was when he was taking a bath, and then he was looking in the mirror, and then
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
like, the 2 girls speaking to him, and I'm like, "Dude." Like,
Yeah.
get some clothes on and just be out, but then, like, you saw him, like, sleeping out on the deck there at night. I would've been doing that for if you asked me to stay there for 3 months, Jay, I would be sleeping outside, rain or shine.
Oh, yeah. And I knew something was up once we got introduced to 2 different girls, because when it all first starts happening, I'm thinking, "Okay, that's this Claire. Claire's dead, we're gonna find out what happened to her." But then when we first get to see, and I think that's when he was looking in the mirror after out of the bathtub, and you see 2 girls, and I'm sitting there going like, "What? Why are there 2?"
Yeah,
And even then, I have no clue where we're going at this point. I'm just along for the ride,
right.
and then when it starts getting more into it, and I'm like, it was like the little girl though. It was like Murdoch, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I
Murdoch.
forget his yeah, I just know him as Murdoch. That's what his girlfriend
Yeah, yeah.
called
And
him.
yeah, so
Crush.
Murdoch, it was like I was wondering, was there something that was needed to happen with his daughter also? But I think that's why he kept staying away. He would come for a little while and leave, but I think he had to like his daughter had some unfinished business too that
Yeah,
they needed to deal with, because I think that's why Claire was there. And then with a whole big twist with the other one at the very end of it, where they're kind of outside and the lighthouse kind of
yeah,
explodes and the stuff kind of goes out. And I'm like, well, the whole time, like with I guess the daughter, maybe she was trying to make things right with the dad because
yeah, he
him and his
felt
daughter,
guilty.
yeah, because they basically had a big argument before she dies.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, that's why maybe, but it was crazy because I thought them two were intertwined
Me
and
too. Yeah.
get to the end of it. And it's like, you start piecing together like why he thought what he thought,
Right.
why he had that book, why he knew
Yep.
things, because our poor boy Jacob, his mama put him through so much trauma
I
by
know.
helping him. She had to help him because
She
that's what,
had to help him because
yeah,
then he
any,
would have been in prison, and he did it
yeah,
by accident.
yeah, any mother would
Yeah.
have done that. But,
Yeah.
as him as a young kid, there's times where you hear her telling him, like, basically, "We'll never speak of this again," and so it made sense to me how he picked and he chose certain parts to remember. Like, he remembered
Yeah.
Claire, he remembered that newspaper clipping where it basically listed off things she liked, and he remembered
Yeah.
that because he found that newspaper clipping, but blocked out the whole twist with that girl, Julie. I don't remember if that was her name or not.
Was it Julie? Yeah, I can't
I don't
remember,
remember either.
but or Daisy. I think it was like Daisy or
Maybe it was they
something.
okay.
I can't but yeah, and, yeah, it was, like, crazy. I think the creepiest part before that started to be shared with us, like, he was drawing on the wall all in red, and Murdoch was like, "What are you doing? What the hell are you doing?" And the girl and his girlfriend came down, it was like, "Jacob," and then, like, she wanted to make out with him there. I'm like, "Girl, he
That was so
is"
odd.
yeah, I was like, "He's going through something. Maybe you should go get the police or help or something." Yeah.
Yeah, that part where he's kinda staring at the wall, and at that point, he's got that 1,000-mile glare. He's out.
Yeah.
And when she kinda walks up to him and she's trying to talk to him, and I'm sitting there going like, "Okay, he's spaced out." My brain,
Mhm.
I'm thinking she's gonna try to get him on the boat. Like, she's
Yeah,
gonna, "Hey, come on, let me get you to the boat."
right.
She never takes him to the boat. She is able to get him up,
Yeah,
get him to walking,
I know.
and then tries to make out with him, but
Yeah.
you can't get him to the boat. Come on, girl,
Right,
what are we
right.
doing?
What are your priorities? I know.
Yeah, like she was just trying to get a quick score in the lighthouse, like a notch in her belt.
Girl, let's go and then he chased her away, then she got all upset, but then she did get Murdoch. Thank God he came and that yeah, like, they were all like, Murdoch was filled with so much anger, but I think through Jacob, they connected. I was just happy that, like, at the end, when the police came and everything, because they found Jacob's mom helped basically, a house guest, like, Jacob accidentally shot his friend in the lighthouse, told his mom, and then the mom helped him get rid of the body by hiding it in like some type of radiator or furnace or whatever in the lighthouse. They call the police take the body, but I'm glad Jacob didn't have to go to prison or something. Murdoch just kept it to himself, which was nice.
Yeah, but I'm wondering though, did Murdoch keep it to himself, or did Jacob, sit down and tell the police what all happened? That he remembered that his mom did this. His mom's dead now, so she can't get in trouble. But I'm wondering if he did tell them, because I think he would have an even harder time not telling them after everything he just went through and figured out. I think he would have to tell them, like, look, I know why that little girl's in the little vent down there. You know, I think he went to like, told the police everything.
I don't know. I don't think he did. I just like I think he was like, "Oh, maybe Murdoch was like, "Oh, we found this girl's body." Because if he did, I think wasn't he yeah, I don't know. I don't think he did. I think we would've because then they would have charged him. Like he committed the crime or maybe the statute of limitations. I don't know. I was just happy we didn't see it and he was with his girlfriend, so he probably stayed
Yeah.
in, home and trying to got a job there, probably working for Murdoch, and, I'm just wondering how come we never knew how much the job paid?
Yeah, apparently it must have been decent. It had to be a lot because there's no
Yeah.
way I'm staying with the stuff that was going on in that house. Like,
Right.
as soon as that first time where I had where he started seeing some stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
like that night where he's getting the water out of the sink and you see the little girl's
Yeah.
figure, and next thing you know, he's got his head down. You start hearing the feet creaking across the floor.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's scared because he don't move. He just kind of sits there and you keep hearing feet. At that moment, I'd have been like you. I'd have been out there on the railing, just sitting down in the
Right,
corner. And then when that
right.
boat pulled up, when my boy Murdoch showed up the next day,
Yeah.
I'm getting on that boat.
Yeah, I would've been to hell with the money.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Like, no, Murdoch, you put me on that boat taking me back, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because we find out there's a part where he finds out that he's not the first one. There's been like 4 or
Right.
5 other people that's been hired, but they quit.
Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah, and so that must have that meant to me, like, them other people were showing up having to deal with, like, 2 ghosts. They probably had no clue what the hell they were dealing with.
No.
'Cause at least our boy Jacob had a little idea,
Yeah.
because he remembered being there. But yeah, this one was a fun ride all the way up until it gives you the twist that
Yeah.
I had no clue, like, didn't see it coming at all, and man, it was a fun ride. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I don't know. I mean, we saw Polaroid was the film that we talked about on your podcast, and I like Polaroid too. I would say these are up there, but if you had to choose, which one would you choose? I feel like you would choose this one.
Yeah, it would if I had to pick between this one and Polaroid, I'm watching this one,
Yeah.
and even though, I know the twist
Mhm.
to it now, I think it would still be a good watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is one of them good horror movies for somebody that's kinda like wanting to dip your toes in a little bit, that,
Yeah.
not too over the top, you're not gonna really see nothing bad toward kids or nothing
No.
like that. I
Nothing
think
like
this is
that.
a good little twist thriller type horror for people that just
Yeah.
wanna if they're not ready for the deep stuff yet, the deep end.
Yeah. Did you have, I did. I was surprised because it's hard for me to, like, jump at stuff. Did you have any, like, jump scares and stuff?
Oh, yeah, the part where the dad, Murdoch, where he's finally staying in there long enough and starting to see
Yeah.
everything, when he goes in there and he discovers the little generator room with the light
Mhm.
and all
Yep.
the little pieces of glass hanging up, that part
Yeah.
where he's standing there at the stairs and he's looking, and all of a sudden, he turns, that little girl sitting there with that bracelet shoved out at him, and he
Yeah.
falls in the floor, like, that part got me because when he turned and she's just, like, basically right there in front of him with that little bracelet.
Yep.
I was like, "Yep," and I
Yeah.
remember thinking to myself, like, "Okay, you got me. Y'all got
Yeah.
me."
No, that was a good one. That one, like, I talked about the mirror one, and
Yeah,
then,
that
like,
one
the
too.
faucet one. Yeah, that was good. Oh, and then, down in that basement or whatever it was, that was a bit creepy too,
Yeah, that one that
no?
the whole basement thing, and I did read somewhere where that basement was not the actual lighthouse.
No. Oh, it wasn't.
No, they said I remember reading somewhere that the basement was actually in a old theater, and the theater where they filmed the basement scene at is the theater where they did the release for the movie at.
I was wondering, I was like, I never heard of a lighthouse having a basement. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well, it could have fooled me. Wow. Well, Jay, this was great. And before I let you go, obviously we reached the final room. I have two questions for you. The first one is, if horror disappeared tomorrow, what part of your life would suddenly feel empty?
Every day. Like, I
Yeah.
watch horror movies every day. Like, I don't watch just random chick flicks or comedies here and there. Like, 99% of my viewing is some type of horror thriller. And now that, I've got into it, just a few years ago, and now it's like an everyday thing. It's like a fix.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I need to watch this. I need to watch a horror movie. And there's some I've watched over and over again. There's some that I just jump on a rabbit hole on Tubi or something and just click on something and just to watch it. And so yeah, if I could, man, I don't know what I would. My TV time would go down a lot.
What's your go-to horror? Like, you just like something you always put in the background, like if you just need like noise or something, or like you need to feel good. Like, I know for me, like if I just like it was strange. I watched this film. I was stressed out during the day, and when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, everything's all right in the world." It's
Yeah,
like a spa treatment for me watching a horror film. Like, what's your go-to horror film?
mine's a movie called Circus of the Dead.
Oh, I see. What is that? The poster in the background I
That's
see
the
right there?
poster for the second one that they're
Second
in the
one.
process of working
Yeah.
on now. And, but yeah, that is my favorite horror actor in it, favorite horror movie. And that thing I can just put on. It's on Tubi. I own the Blu-ray. I own the VHS
Damn.
copy.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's my go-to. I can put it on, and but it's also one of those that don't recommend that one to your kind of new horror fan. It's not
Right.
one of those.
Right, right, right. Well, before I let you go, I've always asked my guests, since this is the Looks Creepy Cool podcast, what is the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you? And what is the coolest thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
Creepiest thing, it's easy. See, I remember it like it's yesterday. Me and my brother, probably, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. We used to grow up. We grew up in the I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, but we had these things called the big wheel where you just sit down and pedal it. And we lived on an old dirt road, and he was pushing me from behind. And on this road, we had this old, on the side of the road, bunch of woods and stuff like that. Well, he's pushing me. And when he's pushing me, I lose control of it, and he runs me up into some bushes. When I hit them bushes, I pick my head up. When I pick my head up, there's a snake that's on the bush, like on my nose. His head, I feel his tongue like hit my nose.
Oh my
And to this day, I have this extreme fear of snakes. Like, I'm talking extreme. Like,
You're like Indiana Jones scared.
oh man, it is a level of scared in me. Like a movie with a snake in it, just any random part with a snake, just sent. Oh, I can't. I could just go back to that one part where I see that snake in them bushes, and that thing is literally like tongue in my
Oh
nose.
my God.
And I
Thank
remember,
God it didn't bite you.
I know, I remember coming out of those bushes, like just screaming and backing out, and ever since then, like a snake will send me in a quick sprint the other direction. Like it scares me. Like, oh, I have a huge fear. And then for me, I can go back. Like, I don't think I've ever in my life, I've been deployed, shot at, bombed, never been as scared as I was that day that snake was flicking me on the nose.
Wait a minute. You've been like all that in the army, and the snake scares you the most.
Yeah.
Wow.
To a snake is number one, and a spider's right there with it,
Well,
buddy.
yeah, I
It's like,
believe you. Yeah.
it's a close second with a spider. I've had a spider experience goes back to, once again, being a teenage kid. I had a spider on my ceiling. I remember going to bed that night, spider on my ceiling. I remember telling my dad, he walked by. I was like, "Hey, Dad, there's a spider on my ceiling." He comes in over the broom, swats at it. Spider flies against the wall onto the floor.
What?
And Dad's like, "I'm going to bed." Turns the light out. Jay's still in the bed. Jay's still thinking that this spider is now at my level. He is now on floor level with me. And Dad just flips the light out. And so there I am, just like, where's the spider now? Where is it? Where is the spider go? And now I'm supposed to fall asleep with my eyes closed with this said spider just making itself at home in my bedroom.
Right.
And so now, yeah, it's like snakes and spiders. Them two instances in my life that I can go back to like it was yesterday. And you showed me a snake on a TV screen or a video or something, and I instantly feel like
Yeah.
it's just it terrifies me.
So what happened to the spider? Did you end up finding it
I
and
don't.
get
I
it
have no
killed?
clue what happened to that. I don't know. And I remember I just remember laying in bed. I don't even know how long it took me to go to sleep. But
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to do. It's like, because I don't know how a spider thinks. I don't know what
Uh-huh.
goes through its head.
You know they
Like,
fly too. Some of them
yeah, like,
fly.
is this spider mad now because he just got swatted
You
from the
think it's
ceiling
your
to the
fault.
floor? And now he's mad. Now he's looking for somebody. And I'm the guy in the room. Like, I'm the spider don't know who hit him with the broom.
Oh my God.
He could come up into my bed and just be sitting there watching me. Like,
Yeah. With 8
let this-
eyes.
yeah, he's just watching me going, fall asleep.
Yeah.
I want you to fall asleep.
Yeah.
He could have crawled in my mouth or something. I don't know what he did that night.
Well, has been the coolest thing that's ever happened to you?
Man, coolest thing. I don't know. Cause I was thinking about that early when I seen that when you
Mhm.
emailed me about it. And I was kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of cool stuff. 20 years in the military. I've been places, done things, and done a lot of stuff like that. But for me, I wanted to look at it like, because this is kind of a horror type, show, and we're talking about stuff that scares us. And so I wanted to talk about something really, really cool that happened since I got into the horror side of things. And because I mentioned Circus of the Dead, and I mentioned the actor in there, Bill Oberst Jr., I'm just a huge, huge fan. And my brother, when he was doing his podcast, me and him watched Circus of the Dead. He brought Bill on his show. Here I was like, man, I was kind of jealous because I found him first, And so my brother puts him in touch with me once I started doing this podcast. And, we emailed a couple times. And I remember I went to his website because he designs these like baby dolls things he had designed. And I went to his website and he had one on there. And so I was going to order one of them baby dolls. And I think I ordered something else. I don't remember, like a picture or something like that. Well, he emails me back and forth like, hey, I got your order. I really appreciate it. He's like, I got to go to LA to do some recording. Is it okay if I ship this out later? So I'm like, yeah, no rush at all. I'm kind of giggly the fact that I'm getting to email this guy. Like, in this point, I think he'd come on the show maybe, or maybe he has, I don't know. But back to the thing, I ordered this stuff. I get it in the mail, this box, named right there on it, Bill Oberst Jr. It was so cool to me. And I'd ordered this little small version. Well, in the box, he puts a card, which I have right here. And it said, I sent you the big backwoods baby instead of the little one. It's the least I could do for someone who'd been such a porter of Circus of the Dead. In this box wasn't just the little doll. No, he packed this thing full of just goodies, like Bill Oberst goodie stuff. And I'll show it to you real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
This is the backwoods
I can't see.
backwoods
Oh,
baby.
oh,
Yep. And he made
so
it
cool.
and painted it up like the toothpick in his mouth, and and then on the back of it,
Yeah.
he built 3 of them, and this is actually number 1 of 3. Yeah, and
Wow.
he actually like puts his
Funny
initial in there.
autographs.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. The baby fell.
Baby just
No,
fell out.
that's so nice. Jay, he should be a guest on your show again. I know
Yeah.
your brother had him before, but yeah.
But the other thing that was in there that I didn't know is he sent me this fake
Oh, the
ear.
ear.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
That's intertwined with wire.
yep. And it's got it all
Wow.
kind of like bloodied up. But then when I ordered it, in the note he put basically said, I sent you the set. He's made 27 of them. He made 27 of them. This is actually on the bottom of the box. Also, he sent me number 1 of the 27, first one he ever done.
First one he
And
ever
he
done.
sent it to me. He
That's so cool.
sent me a little doll of Papa Corn is who he plays in Circus of the Dead. And he actually autographed it, put on there that Papa loves you,
Wow.
and sent me the cards. He sent me a couple movies. He sent me soundtracks to one of his movies that I like, and that to me, that was like for somebody that got into horror and get to watch these movies. And now when I get to, have a guest on the show that writes movies or has been in movies, I find that just so super cool for just some, guy like me just to get on here and just run my mouth about horror movies, and for when he sent me that stuff, I was like, holy crap, man. Like that was so cool for somebody like just because I like to watch his movies and stuff. And he sends me, you know, that stuff. And for me, that was a super cool just because, I'm just some old guy that likes to run my mouth and drink and talk about horror movies. For somebody to do something like that was like really cool for me.
Wow. No, but that's great. I mean, and actually, every celebrity should be that way. They should model after him. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's so cool, Jay. Jay, so you reached the final door. You may leave the house. I want to thank you so much. And the house thanks you so much for being a guest on the podcast. Like, this was so much fun.
Oh yeah, and I'm a big fan of what you got going on here. I like this. I like this, and I appreciate you having me on here.
Yep.
I've never had anybody reach out and ask to have me on their show. And if anybody has listened to my show, there's a reason why a lot of people don't reach out to me.
No. Well, tell everyone about your show, where they can find it, how many episodes you have every week and so forth.
Yeah, the name of the podcast is Fright Flick FMK, and like I said earlier, we watch horror movies, rate them, F it, marry it, or kill it. Right now, we stream on pretty much all the platforms for podcasting. We also do a YouTube channel, so you get the video version also, and pretty much everything's at Fright Flick FMK. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to stop by and see the live video version, right now, I think like this Friday, the next episode I got coming out is going to be like episode like 135 or something like that.
Wow, that's great.
Well, yeah, I've had, and through those, there's been a lot of interviews. I've had people on the show. You've been on here and done the show with me as a guest the first time to talk about the festival.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the next 2 times it was just to talk about horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're on all the social media. Go like, subscribe, follow along. I'm always looking for recommendations for horror movies. So I'm always looking for something new. Renee knocked it out of the park, gave me like 5 or 6 of them, and I've 2 of those we've talked about. So yeah, I'm always looking for new movies. But I appreciate you again, Renee. I appreciate what you do,
Yeah.
what you got going on over there. And
Thanks, Jay.
it's always a blast to get on here with you because it's like, we get on here and it's like we just seen you last week or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is great. Jay, thank you so much. It was so great having you. And guys, thank you for listening to the Looks Creepy Cool podcast. And just remember, if it looks creepy, it must be cool. Follow the fear. The house is always waiting. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Bye. Want more chills and chatter? We're streaming on all podcast platforms.